Anna Van Riel, and I live in Lago Hawea in the deep south of New Zealand. I'm a vocalist. I play guitar and I play ukulele and kazoo. But I think first and foremost I'm a songwriter and a vocalist. So I started playing with words when I was little, when I was really small, maybe 3 or 4. I remember swinging on the swing and having the epiphany that I'd put words together with a melody and that it felt really amazing. But then when I was 14, I think I picked up a guitar for the first time, and my mum showed me 3 chords, and I'm left-handed and I didn't know there was a right-handed guitar, so I picked up the right-handed, it was a right-handed guitar, and I didn't even know there was such a thing as a left-handed guitar, so started learning to play. So I always feel like I'm playing upside down, but I've been doing it for too long now to change. So my biggest influences probably both my mum and dad. So my dad's a real country folk kind of musician. He's got an amazing voice, but it was always like Kiwiana, like in New Zealand, you light a bonfire and you play around the fire, and somebody always pulls out a guitar. It's a real New Zealand thing. And so every time we are at New Year's or Christmas or some sort of celebration or a barbecue, my dad would always pull out the guitar. And when I was little, I loved it. When I was a little bit older, I'd be like, Dad. And now that I'm older, I love it again, and I sing with my dad. And my mum was always into classical music and wanted to sing opera and wanted me to sing classical. So I had an inspiration from all sorts of different influences, but my mum was also really into musical theatre, so I had a lot of influence of musical theatre, which has been great for my songwriting. Dad's kind of old country and mum's musical theatre and classical. It's been really cool kind of fusion for helping me with my songwriting. There's lots of things that inspire me to create music. One is when I learn something new. Like when I learn a new phrase on the guitar or something like that, or a sound. If there's a sound that it'll inspire words, and then I'm just locked in. It usually comes with kind of like a visual or words that come with it. I don't ever feel like they're really coming from me. Often they download. Yeah, the words just download. Another thing will be playing with other people and feeling inspired playing with other people. A really big one was having children. I wrote a lot of children's music, but even that kind of led me into other adults' music, just that going through that experience of almost simplifying and going back to really ground level but good quality music for children, but something that they feel like it's theirs and it belongs to them. And it's sacred. It's not for adults, it's just for children. And adults can appreciate it, but it's like, you're little and I made this for you. But it's kind of brought me to a new place with my grown-up music as well. Yeah, so all sorts of things inspire me. Yeah. I really love house concerts and playing to a really connected audience where there's a real togetherness, even sharing a meal and having a really attentive listening audience. So it feels very intentional rather than playing in a pub where people just happen to be there. It's better when you have a connection. I live on a really beautiful property, as you know, in Lago Hawea. And the property is really special because it was a plant nursery that my husband's parents bought 42 years ago, and then his mum subdivided it for her children. So my husband's sister lives here with her children, and my children's godmother lives here, and we have a real community on the land, and everyone grows a lot of food. So I feel really passionate about growing food and sharing food. Feeding people and food for medicine too. I really love the nourishing qualities of food and understanding more about, why we eat certain things and how it supports your microbiome of your gut and your well-being. And then that togetherness of growing food as a community and for a community. And then I recently finished my some vocal teacher training, which I'd always kind of been a bit scared to teach voice lesson. I didn't kind of feel like I knew what to do. And now I feel like I've totally locked in with that, and that's so exciting. I'm loving being, loving teaching, singing. Well, in New Zealand, our kind of First Nations people are Māori people, and they have a reputation for being really gifted musicians. They've got really beautiful voices, and there's a lot of harmonies, really rich in harmonies, and they have a really distinct strum on the guitar, which is really, it's got a real cool groove. And I think that's inspired a lot of people to love kind of dub and reggae, because it's got kind of a strong downbeat. Well, it seems like a lot of Kiwis love that kind of music. But there's so many artists that are coming out of New Zealand that are all sorts of things. I think New Zealand, we're such a tiny country and we're such big travellers, so I think we get a lot of inspiration from everywhere. As artists, as musicians, we're creative and we're sensitive, and I think it took me a really long time to have the courage to really step into being a musician. And I used to say, I wash dishes, but I like playing music. Or, I'm a massage therapist, and I like playing music. And I think when you feel like you're a musician, you can say, I'm a musician. And I also do massage, I'm a musician, and I'm also washing dishes at a cafe, or, or I have you could have a career. I work in IT, or I'm a computer programmer. But if you feel like you're a musician, it's okay to say that you're a musician. It took me a long time to have the courage to step into that, but it changes everything. Energetically and dynamically, it changes what you invite into your life and musical experiences that you allow yourself when you kind of step up, and don't ever be afraid to kind of grow your musical knowledge. It's and that comes from collaboration, having musical experiences with other people. It's a really great it's a really great way to learn and grow musically.
Nice. Thank you very much.
1, 2, 3, 4. So
But he was so strong that it too strong that it moved. So rock me, baby, rock me, darling, rock me to and fro. He was so strong that it too strong that it moved. Oh, rock me, baby, rock me, darling, rock me to and fro. He was so strong that it too strong that it moved. Oh, rock me, baby, rock me, darling, won't you rock me to and fro? He was so strong that it too strong that it made. Rock me, baby, rock me, darling, won't you rock me to and fro? He was so strong that it too strong that it made. Oh, he was so strong that it too strong that it made. Ooh, yeah, he was so strong that it too strong that it for me. Yay! Thank you.